Hi everyone, it's Bren here and welcome to this week's garden update. And I have to say I'm feeling a sense of freedom because it's now currently Friday afternoon. My children have finished their schoolwork, which they're currently doing at home due to lockdowns here in this part of New South Wales, Australia. I'm just so looking forward to the weekend, having 2 free days where I can do a bit of pottering around and getting this garden ready for spring. And speaking of weekends, last Saturday and Sunday I got so much work done out here, which I'm going to show you now, plus a bit more, so please stick around and let's get into it. There's a lot more pretty pansy flowers around the garden this week. I particularly like the colours of this one. If you check out the petals, they're lovely and frilly. There's a few more over here just starting to take off now, like this pretty white and purple bloom. This one is a deep burgundy colour, and if you take a closer look at the centre, it almost looks like fireworks. And just over here is this cheery yellow one, but I've noticed that something has been munching on its petals. I remember these 4 plants came from this same punnet that I purchased from my local garden centre, and as far as I can remember, I think these are a trailing variety, so they can get quite large, up to 60 centimetres in diameter. The only thing is I cannot find the label, so I'm just going off my memory. The girls are doing a really good job today of scratching the mulch up, which is here under one of our apple trees. And also under this space, I have this random foxglove just here. I'm really tempted to dig it out and move it somewhere else in the garden, but I've actually done that before and it hasn't been successful for me. Maybe I'm just not digging up enough of its root ball, putting it under too much stress, and it just wilts away once it's put into its new spot. Oh, I'm telling you, I'm just loving the garden at the moment. It's so relaxing to be out here. Hey, Autumn. She has this random feather sticking out. It's been like that. I think it was even like that last week. I haven't gone near her to kind of fix it. You know, it just looks a bit funny. I have been thinning out some of these carrots. These are the Harlequin mixed variety pack. So I've got lots of different coloured carrots in here. Oh, I need to be careful of this now. I think it's going to have to stay off. Otherwise, yeah, look, I just lost a bit of foliage on the top of this. They are looking fantastic. And actually, up there at the back, I put in some larkspur, which has very similar foliage. Whoops! So I need to make sure I don't accidentally pull these plants out. These were some little seedlings that I purchased a while back now before we went into lockdown. It's this larkspur mix, some lovely different colours there. I'm not sure which ones I'm going to get with these 3 plants, but I'm excited to have them there, and they get quite tall too, so I thought that would look nice as a backdrop to this lovely greenery from the carrot tops. You can see down here that I do need to do a bit more thinning out. Like, there's 4 seedlings here, and what I'm going to do is pick the strongest one, which seems to be this one, and then just pull out the others that are around it. I have to do this very carefully because I don't want to disturb the roots of the carrot I'm leaving behind. But you can see there's some little baby carrots. Let's check out the other 2. I actually pulled out a larger one, which I might do today just to show you, and it was purple. And I was really pleased with it too, because the roots were lovely and straight, which is a good sign that the soil here in this garden bed is nice and fluffy without any big lumps, so the carrot roots can go straight down. Obviously these carrots are way too small at the moment. You want the tops to look a lot larger before you even consider picking them. But when it does come to harvesting time, and if you're not sure if your carrots are ready, you can always have a little peek by moving some of the soil back from around its base. Now, I know for sure this one isn't ready yet, but you know what? For today, I'm going to actually pull it out. Let's take a look and see what we can expect from the harvests in weeks to come. Oh, look at that. Isn't that lovely? And the other great thing about carrots is you can also use the carrot tops. A lot of people, when they're thinning out carrots, they use these to make carrot pesto in a similar way to how you would use basil leaves. I'm in the back garden again because I want to have a little chat to you and maybe get some advice about this large garden bed over here. I just cannot get my head around what to plant in here for summer. Usually in this space I pop in a heap of colourful annuals like cosmos and zinnias, Some of you may already know, who've been following me along for a while, I absolutely adore Monty Don. He's one of my garden idols, and he has this most magnificent jewel garden full of vivid colours, and I believe it's called a jewel garden because the flowers in it do resemble jewels. So you have sapphires and emeralds and just really deep, rich, vivid colours. And I'm thinking I might do it here. But the thing that makes me a bit hesitant is I've never tried it out before. And really, I'm not 100% sure if I will like it. And I think this may be the year where I do it. The fact that I'm giving up such a large space in my garden to something new to me, a bit experimental, does make me a little bit nervous, but I really feel in my heart that I want to give it a shot. I'm down the very back of the property here in the fan garden, where I have a lot of long in-ground garden beds that I've been trying to work on over this week, bringing in more compost, manures, getting this soil nice and healthy for the planting season ahead. But I have actually started to put some bulbs in here. So in this garden bed under the soil there are 40 liliums, and just over here beside that one there's some gladiolus in here, I think about 25 of a mixed pack. The reason why I've got the chicken wire down here is to stop these girls from scratching them up. I cannot pass by this little edible container garden without giving you a quick update. There's a couple of radishes and some turnips, Japanese turnips, but what I'm most excited about is this here, my Paris carrots. Like the other carrots I showed you over in the raised garden bed area, these ones are not quite ready yet. They still have a good bit of growing to go, and probably a bit more thinning actually. But what I did want to show you today, like the other bed, was I want to pull one of the larger ones out, and I see a nice one in here. Now bear in mind it's going to be quite small, but gives you an idea of what to expect. Paris market carrots are a variety that you can grow really well in containers. They do well in clay soil too, and I think that's because they don't have a very long taproot. So what I'm expecting to happen now with these is that this section of the carrot will swell up to roughly, maybe slightly smaller than the size of a golf ball, and that is when I am going to be harvesting them. The greenhouse is coming on really nicely. I have been potting on seedlings, as you can see from these two bottom trays and the top one here. Usually I would wait until my seedlings are a bit larger than this before I transplant them into individual cells. However, with the amount of plants I'm growing this year, I felt like I had to get started on the work of transplanting. I really just wanted to get going on these, so I didn't feel overwhelmed in a few weeks when I had seedlings almost jumping out of their original punnets that I sowed them in. I would love to know if you would like me to go through my seedlings in a bit more detail. I'm not sure whether this is something that you guys are interested in, or you might find it boring. I personally love looking at people's seedling collection. It gets me excited to thinking about what they are growing and what I can grow in my garden. So please let me know if you're interested in this, and I will do a bit more next week. I also managed to fill up the rest of the cells of the tomatoes. Still need to figure out where I'm going to put all of them. And then I still have a bit more to go in here where I have my chilies, eggplants and capsicums. And then, crazy old me, I have another one full of beautiful potential. That's what I'm saying, because just because I sow all of these seeds, it doesn't always mean that they're successful for me, but I do like to try. I don't think I mentioned it before, but about 2.5 weeks ago it was my birthday, and of course, typical me, I spend my birthday money on plants and compost. It's usually what I do each year. In these pots, I am so excited to let you know that I am growing a huge array of liliums, so many different types. In these trays, they look a little bit like onions, don't they? But these are actually corms from my gladioli collection. What I've done is, because I don't have the beds ready to pop these directly in the ground, which you can do and I have done down at the very back in the fan garden, you can actually get them started in trays of soil. Some people even start them in a bit of water just to get them going. And that's the plan with these, at least. Rather than them just sitting in the bags that I purchased them in, I want to get, some nice shoots coming out of these, giving them a little bit of a head start. When I mention compost, this is what I'm talking about. Here you're looking at 4 cubic meters of mushroom compost, which I purchased from my local landscape supply company. So they still do contactless deliveries, which I'm delighted I was able to still get. And this is just going to make the garden go crazy. All the nutrients and goodness in this soil, this compost, is really going to benefit my garden this summer. Always when I ring them to order, I say, oh, can I please get the stuff that's really broken down? And lucky for me this time, I actually grabbed the last 4 cubic meters that they had on their premises. So this is the stuff that was lying at the bottom of the pile. It's completely broken down and ready to put straight into the beds. One of my garden goals is to be self-sufficient, which includes making enough compost to feed this entire garden. Now, while I do make compost, it never seems to be enough at the moment, especially when I'm still in the process of converting grassed areas into garden beds. So for the moment, what I'm doing, and it works for me, is I'm ordering in the compost from a local landscape supply company. It's very reasonable. I'm supporting a local business. I've got it from them for the past few years and it's always been fantastic quality. I'm really happy with it, so I'm going to continue to do that while trying to increase the volume that I make here. I think that's about all I can squeeze in for this week. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. I'll see you again next Friday.